Welcome to the Amgen Breakaway from Heart Disease Women's Race, empowered with SRAM, part of the UCI Women's World Tour, as we come to beautiful Lake Tahoe for stage one of the women's race, the 117-kilometer jaunt around the lake today. I'm Brad Soner, joined by Laura Winter, as we had a beautiful day of racing out there with tons of talent signing in, including Katie Hall from the United Healthcare Pro Cycling Team.
Katie, a beautiful morning here, but of course you know that you're from California. What's it like racing in your home state?
Oh, it's the best. It's so fun to see my friends here. I love the terrain in Tahoe. This is my favorite race of the year.
It's windy, very windy today. I guess you're kind of used to that being from here?
This is actually really uncommon here. So this is, we think the Dutchies brought the wind. It'll be all right, but it's different conditions than we usually have.
And how are you feeling? How will you cope with the altitude, the wind, and the tough racing out there?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be a really aggressive race because of the wind and because of the depth of the field. And I like a good aggressive race, so I'm excited.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Katie Hall looking to repeat on her stage victory here at Tahoe in 2015, but she would have to go through a lot of big names like the current U.S. Road National Champion Megan Guarnier and her Boels-Dolmans team.
Megan, morning, a beautiful day at Lake Tahoe. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting an aggressive day of racing, and it'll be interesting to see the team tactics and who's racing for who and within each team. And a beautiful day, of course, and great scenery. Hopefully I'll be able to enjoy that.
You're racing here in the American national jersey as well. You're on home soil. How proud are you?
I'm very proud to be here in the Stars and Stripes. I've been racing with the Dutch team over in Europe for years, and it's really nice to come to an American race and be in this jersey and represent, our country in our country.
A bit windy today, though. How are you going to cope with that?
I think we're in a good situation with being on, as I said, a Dutch team. We know the wind and we know how to handle the wind, so it'll be an advantage for us, I think.
Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Of blue skies and sunshine greeting the riders in Tahoe, but as you heard Megan say, the wind will be the major factor today with a sustained speed of 26 miles an hour, and they're reporting gusts up to 54 miles an hour around South Lake Tahoe. 73 miles as they head out from Emerald Bay up the west shore. Now this is going to be a tailwind in the beginning section, but once they move to the east side of the lake, they'll be facing a very serious headwind. Huge crowds greeting the riders here at the start line as, Laura, everyone looking to get a glimpse of their favorite riders.
Thanks, Brad. Yeah, and one rider there to talk about, Kristin Armstrong, double Olympic champion in the women's time trial, and just one of the riders that the crowds are craning a look to see. Megan Guarnier, of course, we've already seen national champion in the Stars and Stripes jersey. Evie Stevens in there, Marianne Vos in there, one of the best riders in the world at the moment, and she's won the most races of any women's cyclist ever.
Well, an incredibly important day of racing here, as this is the 8th stop of the new UCI Women's World Tour. A lot of weight being put on this edition of the race.
Absolutely. It's not just the 8th round of racing. For Boels-Dolmans, this is another chance for them to assert their dominance over the rest of the field. If you can believe it, they have won 5 rounds from 7 so far, with only Raboliv and Wiggle High Five able to stop them.
Well, certainly a big target on their back today, as it's going to be very tough for those riders to try and get away. A lot of the big-name riders will be marked today, so it might be up to their teammates to try and get those early race breakaways.
Emma Johansson comes into this race for Wiggle High Five as the #1 rider in the world. She talked in the press conference about the pressure of being a marked rider, a watched rider, but she's not the only one, and certainly for some of the American Rio 2016 hopefuls, this is another chance for them to prove themselves, including Evie Stevens and Guarnier too.
Well, good look at the Boels-Dolmans team at the back there getting ready as we go out of the neutral zone, and the racing kicks off in full force. Battling the wind out there, but the speed still very, very high. That speaks to the talent level in this field.
115 kilometres to go, 2 kilometres down. We're already seeing a disjointed peloton. A few gaps emerging. We have a gap here and a rider out in front. Lindsay Bayer of Hagens Berman Supermint Pro Cycling Team is out in front. She's opened up a gap over her rivals and she's going for an early break. Head down, racing in to the wind. Can she make this stick?
A big jump there from Lindsay Bayer, trying to get away from the field, as now we see the peloton keeping a very close eye on her. I got got to imagine on a day like today, you don't give a breakaway much room if you have a choice.
No, absolutely not. You don't want them getting away. And also in a breakaway, you don't want to be out front in the wind. You can already see she's looking behind her. She's realizing this isn't going to stick. They're closing right up.
Yeah, Bayer's going to cut her losses here. She'll go back into the peloton, and now you got to watch for the counterattack. It's not a question of if, but when someone tries to counter the first move made by Lindsey Bayer. On to the first Lexus QOM climb of the day. Just 1.2 kilometers, about 0.7 miles, but a 7.2% average gradient. This is not an easy climb out there.
You can see already the riders are on their feet. They're weaving all over the road. This is a tough climb. We've also got to factor in the altitude effect as well, and how that is going to affect the riders and their breathing and how they can relax into this climb.
Well, this will be a very important QOM. We'll get our first idea of who's interested in that Lexus polka dot jersey. Looks like Rally Cycling putting one of their riders on the front in the orange. That might be Sarah Poitevin taking a look off the front.
We've also got Mara Abbott, Wiggle High Five. She's right on her wheel, keeping an eye. Just behind her, Taylor Wiles of USA Cycling as well. These three at the moment look to be inching their way up to the summit.
So that's Wiles sitting third wheel as they're 200 meters from the summit of the Lexus QOM here, waiting for the attack to come out of this group, but they might be tapped out here. Redlining already on the way up to the summit. Here's Poitevin out of the saddle, and we'll see if she can hold off the riders behind her. It doesn't even look like they're going to contest, as Poitevin will pick up maximum points across the line, followed by Mara Abbott and Taylor Wiles in third to pick up 1 point. So here we are with Dame Sarah Story, who made her attack just a little bit ago and has got some daylight. She's got some time on the field and continuing to put time into this gap.
She attacked at exactly the same point as she did last year. Of course, last year she was in the QOM jersey after this stage. She clearly didn't contest that QOM. She wasn't in the right place. Angry at herself, feeling good. She's attacked and she's going for it.
So Sarah Story trying to make good on a missed opportunity for the Lexus QOM competition as she now approaches the Green Visit California sprint line in the points competition for the green jersey at Tahoma. Obviously, she'll pick up maximum points here, but look at the sprint back in the field as that's going to be Megan Guarnier from the Bulls Dolmans team sprinting out of that group. So clearly, Guarnier is also going to be targeting the green jersey today. Sarah Story picks up 3, Guarnier picks up 2, and Chantal Bloch with 1 point in the Green Visit California sprint competition. Well, back with Dame Sarah Story at the front. This ride oddly reminiscent of 2015. She attacked in almost the exact same place last year. Now the gap is starting to come back. It had gone up to about 5 minutes, but they're reporting 3.5 minutes out on the road right now for Sarah Story back to the main peloton. So got to imagine the chase is starting back in the field.
For so long, there wasn't an organised chase whatsoever. Now we see Canyon Schramm, Hannah Barnes drilling it on the front and upping this pace. Canyon Schramm have come with a huge team here. Lisa Brennauer, Elena Emialusik, 2 of their star riders. But something to note there, not riding is defending champion Trixie Worak. She suffered an awful crash and had pretty major surgery. She is luckily making a comeback though.
Well, seeing all those Canyon SRAM jerseys on the front of the field is going to be bad news for Sarah Story. The gap now 3 minutes with 18K to go. It's a long way back to the finish line here, and they are going to be heading into a headwind here fairly soon.
You can see the numbers rustling on her back. She is on very exposed roads, and Wiggle High Five are at the front of this peloton, absolutely smashing it to close that gap and get back on Dame Sarah Story. Expect the big teams to really make their mark here. Bowles Dolman, Raboliv, Wiggle High Five, and of course Canyon Schramm, as mentioned earlier as well.
I gotta think the field is happy with this situation. They seem like they've got it under control because they have slowly been reeling this one back down to just 1 minute now with 11 kilometers of racing to go for Sarah Story. This might be a bridge too far for her, as you can see she is really struggling on this final uphill.
You can see the peloton bearing down on her in the distance. You can see the pain on her face. She is gritting her teeth. No stranger to pain, of course. She attempted the hour record and she just narrowly missed out. No stranger to time trialing either. She is on a time trial effort right now, and unfortunately against the peloton she is losing.
Yeah, the writing's on the wall for Sarah Story and her valiant break breakaway attempt as she takes one last look behind her. She realizes that she's going to be caught here, so she'll pull the plug. Now we watch for the counterattacks, and we're going to be watching for the teams coming to the front of the field because this final climb is crucial to winning the stage today.
It's been such a cagey race so far. We haven't known which team want to show their cards early. No organised chase on Dame Sarah Storey until this point now. And here's where the teams will really start to try and control the counterattacks.
Well, Storey still digging deep, staring at the stem, trying to find every watt that she can. Meanwhile, taking a look back at the field, look at United Healthcare on the front in the blue and white jerseys, putting a big contingent up there to finally close this one down. And then I would imagine try and either set up for a counterattack or try to control this race into the final kilometer of racing.
A fantastic effort for Sarah Storey. She, of course, awarded the most courageous rider of the day as well. No surprise there whatsoever. A real gutsy effort to stay ahead for so long, and good airtime for podium ambition as well.
Yeah, they say in this sport, if you want to win big, you got to risk losing, and that's exactly what Sarah Storey did today. All the credit in the world for this ride. It's not going to pay off with a stage win, but certainly a great attempt.
She, of course, no stranger to success at all. 6 Paralympic Games, both in swimming, track cycling and road cycling. 27-time world champion, and she's won 11 Paralympic golds.
All right, well, this is going to be the catch being made right here as the peloton breathes down the neck of Sarah Storey. We should point out the wind has died down just a little bit from its peak earlier today, but still very, very difficult conditions out there. It's going to be a headwind on the way in and then a little bit of a crosswind when they hit the finish line.
And here we have Sarah Storey. She is about to be caught, sucked back into the peloton. That headwind really has decimated her breakaway attempt. There she goes, straight out the back.
Yeah, look at this. As the peloton hits the reset button, it is on at the front with Cylance sending riders up there. United Healthcare is there as well. Here comes Visit Dallas DNA up the left side of the peloton. At this point, it's all about positioning. You don't want to be caught in the wrong place when that climb starts because you're going to get sped out the back very, very quickly.
All eyes are also going to be on those marked riders we talked about earlier, the likes of Megan Garnier, Evie Stevens, Emma Johansson, Marianne Vos, of course. They're going to be watching those riders and watching for the attacks.
And this is all hands on deck for the team. Hagens Berman Supermint moving up. Here comes Rally and Rabobank Liv moving up here as well, trying to get to the front to help their teammates out. You've got to have a strong team to have a successful ride today.
Absolutely, and those teams are going to be putting their lead-out trains for their team leaders in place right now as we see Boels Dolman absolutely drilling it at the front and setting it up for Evie Stevens there. She is on the wheel. She's staying protected out of the wind.
Yeah, some great communication between the teammates. Look at this, constantly talking with Evie back there, making sure that she's still there, taking inventory of the other riders around, and really just trying to get a feel for how Evie is feeling today to make sure that she'll be able to give it that go for the Boels Dolman's team.
It's clear Boels Dolmans have so many cards to play. They've got Evie Stevens and they've got Megan Garnier. Who will they choose today for that final climb? Will they both have a go at it? Who knows?
That's one of the most dangerous things about this team is that they have so many cards to play. I would guess you're going to see a couple attacks from that squad. They probably send one long-range attack as a little bit of insurance against the sprinters, and then if that one's brought back, they're still going to keep a sprinter in their hand.
You can see Canyon Schramm there. Tiff Cromwell, the Australian rider, she's on the front as well. She's drilling it for her team, setting it up for Lisa Brennauer, Elena Amialusik perhaps too.
This is 2016 Ride Bikers sitting pretty at the front as well. Here comes Colavita Bianchi up the left side and still sending reinforcements up. This is such an interesting situation because it's a constantly turning field. If you don't defend your position and fight for that spot at the front, it's so easy to find yourself cycled through at the back, and then you have to use that big effort to get back up to the front. That's something you don't want to do, and so that's why we're seeing so many strong riders driving this at the front. They're trying to make this race as difficult as possible for the rest of the field right now.
You can also see the different lead-out trains here as riders still try and stay protected from that wind. It has died down, we must say that, but it's still there. You can see riders tucking in on their drops and they're trying to stay protected.
Boels Dolman losing control here as Tibco coming over the top on the right side. So Boels is going to have to really redouble their efforts if they want a shot at this one. And here comes Rally Cycling up the left-hand side. That is the team of the current QOM leader, Sarah Poitevin. And now they're going to try and double it up with a stage win today.
So around 3K to go or so. Rally Cycling are at the front. We're still waiting for those big teams to come through and send their riders out the front. Perhaps they're preferring right now, though, conserving some energy, tucking in out of the wind and biding their time for that big climb as B Pink now take the lead.
Yeah, I think the game right now is patience, waiting for those big attacks and just trying to stay in position. It's all about defending those first 5 or 6 spots, and you can see all the teams linking up as they get ready for the big finale up to Tahoe.
Rabo Liv, they're right tucked in. They're going to be looking toward Mariana Vos, who's making a comeback from injury. She had a horrible, horrible crash a few weeks ago, but she's recovered well, and she's here racing in California.
Oh, Rodder's starting to jettison those excess bottles as they know they're going to need to save every gram that they can on the way up. 2016 Ride Biker showing themselves as well. I think that's Chloe Dygert riding at the front for that squad as riders continue to scramble around the back of the field, just trying to get a glimpse at this. This will be Silence in the green jerseys with the black shorts, now with a great lead out on the front, but they may have gone too early here. Look at who's behind them. Megan Guarnier and the Bulls Dolman team have a great setup, sitting 3rd and 4th wheel in the field now.
You can see the peloton spreading out behind as the riders try and catch a glimpse of the chances, the opportunities they have to attack, and also to keep an eye on the likes of Garnier and Bulls Dolmans, who are really organized right now.
United Healthcare maybe a little far back. B Pink needs to move up as well if they want a shot at this one. Great job by Silence driving the speeds here. It's got to be tough to get away from this group. They're already at least 95% of their effort, and a lot of these riders are going to be redlining, so trying to jump away from this group is going to be incredibly difficult. This looks like Tibco coming up the left-hand side of the screen, the right side of the peloton, with a well-organized lead out for Tibco.
And the Silence rider there, her job is done for today. She pulls off to the side. Canyon Tram are coming through on the right-hand side of the screen. Tibco are taking control at the front. But where are Bulls Dolmans? They've been so dominant this season so far. 5 wins from 7 in the UCI World Tour. They are going to make their move soon.
I see Megan Guarnier just poking her head out of the front of the peloton, taking a look here, but maybe a little early to make the jump. A very smart rider in Guarnier. Wouldn't expect her to jump too early, but maybe sending a teammate from that squad. Meanwhile, Rally and Tibco controlling the front of this one. So far, these last few K belong to those 2 squads.
The American team's really making their mark on home soil. They don't want to let the Europeans spoil the party, so it is so far all in the hands of the American riders and teams.
Well, this is Tibco's race to lose right now, in control with 4 riders. We should start seeing these riders pulling off. This is a huge pull from the rider at the front. Meanwhile, here comes Rally back up the right side. No, that's Bulls Dolmans. Bulls Dolmans now comes over the top, and they'll take control. A huge ride for the Bulls Dolmans squad up the left side now.
That is Chantal Black on the front, the Dutch rider. She has actually just missed out on selection for the Dutch Olympic team. She is putting those demons to bed right now, drilling it on the front for her teammates. Look like Evie Stevens on her wheel. Megan Garnier's in there as well.
Well, there goes Chantal Black. Her job is done. A great show of teamwork by the Bulls Dolmans team as Black gives it everything that she has to string this field out. Mission accomplished for Chantal Black today.
So that's not Evie Stevens. It looks like another Bulls Dolmans rider, one of the domestiques. She's doing her job now for the team. She's opened up a small gap. She's got a United Healthcare rider on her wheel as well, as all the big names come to the front.
Well, I have a feeling this is going to be the plan for Bulls Dolman. Just continue to launch riders off the front. They're one of the few teams that has the roster to do it here at the Breakaway from Heart Disease women's race, empowered with SRAM. It looks like this one is going to come back together. I think that's Taylor Wiles moving up in the U.S. national jersey there, riding for the national team. She'll take over on the front, and now we're seeing all the big names come forward as they head on to the final climb.
We are. All the big names right now, as they make that left turn, are going to start to make their mark on this race.
Look at the gradient on this road, grinding it out, just trying to stay upright for a lot of these riders. So Wiles is driving, but here comes Mara Abbott up the right side. That is Abbott in the black jersey of the Wiggle Squad, and she's going to have a 2016 Ride Biker rider on her wheel. That's Kristen Armstrong. So now Abbott leads, Armstrong sitting second wheel. Here comes Johansson, and I think that's Megan Guarnier moving up into third position.
We know Abbott can climb. She was second in the QOM on Emerald Bay. She's out the saddle now. now. She is pulling this peloton up this climb up to the finish line.
Yeah, this is a perfect climb for Mara Abbott. Kristen Armstrong as well, though, as they go in the final kilometer of racing. 1K to go. The group still all together. I can't believe we haven't seen a jump out of this group. I would think someone wants to attack here. Maybe Kristen Armstrong tries to launch a long-range attack. Looks like Johansson maybe boxed in here a little bit, in bad position, trying to get around Mara Abbott.
And just coming into your shot at the bottom of your picture, there goes Evie Stevens. She is now attacking straight on her wheel. Emma Johansson, the Swedish champion in her national jersey. Evie Stevens, we know she can climb. She was second this year at Flesh Wallon to Anna van der Breggen. She's gritting her teeth and she is going for it.
Oh, this is a big ask for Evie Stevens, but look what she's done. Another split as Johansson follows the wheel. And then that's Stevens' teammate, Megan Guarnier, sitting third position with a gap behind them. So this may be a setup for Guarnier as Stevens continues to drive it, and this is going to be Megan Guarnier's move. Here goes Megan Guarnier onto the final climb. Inside 700 meters to go. This might be the race-winning move.
Evie Stevens can't stick this pace. She let it out for Megan Guarnier. Emma Johansson off the back as well. Megan Guarnier has opened up a gap and she is up to the finish line now.
Well, it looks like Johansson is going to be the only rider able to respond in the white jersey there as Stevens goes back into the group. One look over her shoulder for Megan Guarnier, and she sees she's got one rider on the wheel. So this is going to be a duel between Megan Guarnier and Emma Johansson for the stage win.
Megan Guarnier racing for so much here, racing for pride on home soil. The first UCI Women's World Tour race on US soil. She is out the saddle now. She is motoring up to that finish line.
All right, motors deviating off the course inside the final 300 meters to go here. As that is going to be Guarnier up the road. This will be the race for second, third, and fourth on the day. Here comes the United Healthcare rider moving through this group very, very quickly into the final turn and onto the finishing stretch.
They have see that wonderful shot there of the finish line. The crowds, there they are, lining the shot as Megan Guarnier comes up to the finish line. There's no one else in sight. The victory is hers. She raises an arm in the air. It's hers.
Guarnier does it today for the Bulls Dolmans team. And we'll take a look at second across the line. That looked like Johansson making it through. This will be the sprint for third. And I think that was Kristen Armstrong.
Looked just like she got that one over Evie Stevens.
Wow, look at the riders across the line, absolutely shattered. After the race today, there's a good look at your race winner as Megan Guarnier pulls off the Stage 1 victory at the Amgen Breakaway from Heart Disease women's race, empowered with SRAM.
High fives and hugs all around. She's already getting her recovery in. You see her swanny with a bottle. Race far from over in this four-stage Tour of California. But there she is across the line, a worthy winner.
Well, here's a look at your top 10 results as Megan Guarnier takes the stage win. But look at the time gaps. 10 seconds back to Kristen Armstrong, Evelyn Stevens, and Marianne Vos in third, fourth, and fifth as Emma Johansson held on for second place today, just 4 seconds back. Then we look down the rest of the top 10. Rosella Rato from the Silence team in sixth. Corinne Rivera finding seventh with Shara Gillow, Taylor Wiles, and Katie Hall rounding out your top 10 today.
There is your worthy winner. Thumbs up to the crowd. She had a lot of friends and family out there cheering her name. She puts on that leader's jersey here at the Tour of California. A special day for her. A lot of pride wearing the Stars and Stripes here on home soil.
And so she earns that yellow jersey by virtue of her Stage 1 win, and she'll be trying to defend that heading into the team time trial tomorrow. Going to be a very important day in that GC battle.
Bulls Dolmans, of course, come with a massive team, but Canyon SRAM are sure to be tough competitors.
All right, let's go down and catch up with our stage winner today, Megan Guarnier.
Megan, congratulations, a spectacular win. Talk me through that final climb and what was going through your mind.
There wasn't a whole lot going through my mind other than that I was in a little bit of pain. Caroline and Chantal started attacking from the bottom of the climb, and then Evie attacked in the final right-hand corner, and then I just went from there, and it felt like a really long ways out.
And what was going through the team's minds when Sarah Story had that 5-minute gap and you guys hit the front and started drilling it and the time gaps went down and down and down? Was that the game plan?
Yeah, we didn't really want it to go up that high. Sarah Story had a great ride today, and it did put a lot of pressure on our team. We did take the initiative in the end. We were hoping for a little bit of assistance from the other teams, but that didn't happen until quite a bit into the race. So, yeah, the Bulls Dolmans girls sacrificed a lot today.
A leader's jersey, a win on home soil in a UCI World Tour race. How proud are you?
Yeah, it hasn't sunk in so much yet, but I'm super happy, and I'm glad to finish it off after all the hard work the girls did today.
Thoughts must turn to tomorrow though, you know, the hard work's far from over. Folsom team time trial, what's the game plan?
Go as hard as you can. That's always the plan in a team time trial. But we have some really great team time trial riders here and a well-rounded team. So I hope that we make a good result there.
And a word on the crowd as well. Were they cheering you on as an American rider?
I think so. And if they weren't, in my head they were.
Very good. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
So Megan Guarnier back to the podium as the stage winner today as well, there alongside Emma Johansson in second and Kristen Armstrong on the podium in third. This was a great preview of what's to come for the rest of the race. We really saw who the heavy hitters were today.
Absolutely, we saw who wanted it as well. Megan Guarnier getting second in that sprint. She's getting all the points she can. She knows it'll come down to the sprints, to the sprint in the Sacramento circuit, and of course to the team time trial too.
Special gift from the local organizing committee here in Tahoe for Megan to commemorate her stage win here on stage one of the Breakaway from Heart Disease women's race empowered with SRAM as she climbs to the top step of the podium. We're also awarding the blue Breakaway from Cancer Most Courageous Riders jersey. That blue jersey was awarded to Sarah Story.
Sarah, what a courageous ride, 90k out in front in these gusty conditions. What was going through your mind as that time gap went up and up and up to over 5 minutes and then started to come down quite rapidly?
Well, I was a bit annoyed with myself for the first Queen of the Mountains. I was poorly placed, so I only got to the front as they'd crossed the line to score the points, and I wasn't scoring any. So I was back at the front, led the group down the descent, and then it just sort of settled a little bit on that next climb, which last year had been a Queen of the Mountains climb, so I knew it very well. I looked round, saw people look like they'd put a lot into the QOM, and I felt really strong, so I decided to attack. And the radio was great because it kept giving me time gaps when I was going up. I was able to check my power and speed and ride to the peloton for a little while and then push on to try and get the gap out as far as I could, in the hope that would be enough to see me through the running. And we expected the strong winds on that final descent, but they really were horrible, especially when you've been out there for so long by yourself. And then 5k to go, and the whole group just arrived behind me and swallowed me up, and that was my day over.
Did the ride evoke memories, not just your hour record, but of course last year's stage here?
No, definitely. Last year was very much in the back of my mind. I attacked almost in the same position, really, but for different reasons. Last year I attacked because there was a Queen of the Mountains to go for, and this year I attacked almost out of anger at myself for being in the wrong place for the Queen of the Mountains. But I knew that I'd been in good form. We've been at altitude for nearly 3 weeks now, and I've always been fairly strong in the altitude racing anyway. So I just thought I need to give it my best shot today and see where it took me. And getting away on my own was not necessarily the plan, but it worked out well in the end because I could ride to my own rhythm and, like I say, listen to the radio and adjust the time and the speed accordingly to the peloton and then push on. And then just when it was coming down at the end, I just kept thinking, come on legs. But that's the way it goes. You've got some huge teams here. They're obviously incredibly well drilled throughout the other women's World Tour events that they've been riding, and obviously Boels Dormann's taking the win today, and they've just literally won everything in the World Tour so far this year. So it's not a bad group of girls to be chasing you down.
A bittersweet feeling right now then. Congratulations, most courageous rider of the day.
Thank you.
Well, what a ride it was for Sarah Story today. Certainly well-deserved in some very difficult conditions here at the Breakaway from Heart Disease women's race empowered with SRAM. That'll do it for us from stage one. For Laura Winter, I'm Brad Soner saying thanks for watching. We hope that you'll join us as we head to Folsom tomorrow for the incredibly important team time trial. Same course as the men. Going to be a huge day of racing. We'll see you there.